Acolytes. Denmark trackers are out. And it doesn't look good for the freak argument. Let's start.
An interesting little immigration statistic has been popping up on the internet again recently. One showing that out of 321 Palestinian refugees that were allowed to settle in Denmark, the majority either went to jail or became some form of criminal or became dependent upon the state for social welfare. This, of course, is...
Yep, and that's, in my opinion, in my actual opinion, a crime in itself. Being a parasite to the people that let you in and gave you a chance of actually having a better life than in your shithole of a country, and you do this. And I don't just mean like the criminals, as I said, even just being a parasite and sucking the blood out of them is, in my opinion, a very bad thing.
A rather damning condemnation of immigration at large, even...
Oh, and by the way, I am actually serious about this. Because a lot of people don't believe in my opinions about the things that I say sometimes. No, some of them I am totally serious about. I don't even think that I am that extreme about it.
Even if the sample group here is a fairly small portion of people, 321 individuals. And this factoid has been debunked several times now by progressive sources, but is it actually untrue? Is it actually misleading? Well, no. Not according to the Danish state, anyways. And seeing as this has been popping up back online again, and since I do read Danish, I figured we'd go over it. So, this comes from the Foreign Affairs and Integration Ministry of Denmark, where they received a question as to whether or not the government could account for the fate of the 321 Palestinians that received a stay, so asylum, in Denmark in 1992 after a special permission was granted to them. So, this requires a little bit of pre-explanation. In the 1990s, Europe didn't really understand much, if anything indeed, about immigration. We viewed everyone beyond our borders as basically just Europeans with a different skin color, and therefore anyone and everyone could easily integrate. It wouldn't even require any real effort, really.
And they were so wrong. They were so effing wrong. Until this day, we suffer under this freaking stupid... some cultures just aren't compatible with our culture. And those cultures can go F themselves. Simple as that. I don't want those people here. And it's not because if somebody comes here and integrates here, I don't care. Legally, of course. But if you have a gigantic group that comes in and has slums, or even just makes groups of themselves, or within the Landsmänner, as we say in Germany, nothing will change. And some cultures are just brutal, fucked up, beyond any repair. And they just don't fit us. Simple as that. They should go. And we see, by the way, we see how this looks. We know. Right now in Germany, if you hear of a stabbing that is somebody with a, brown skin did, you don't even react anymore. It's just normal. It's not, oh my, oof, no, that's impossible. It's, is it already Monday? Or Wednesday? Or Friday?
So, when 320 Palestinians arrived in Denmark and were refused their initial asylum request, but then went on to occupy a church for 5 months, well, the Danish populace went, oh, these poor innocent people, these starving victims of war, we simply must change the law to allow them to stay. And this was also caused by a signing campaign of Danish priests. Priests much like this individual right here. And I use the term priest with very large quotation marks there, as political activist with a different name is probably more correct. 600 Danish priests signed a petition for the Danish government to allow these 321 refugees to stay, because, I mean, after...
Wait, 600? That's not a lot. It's barely a handful.
After all, if they were willing to live in a church for half a year...
And by the way, every single one of the priests that actually signed this contract, prison for a year. Every single one of them.
Year, sleeping on the floor, etc. These were desperate refugees. They were the ones seeking a home, salvation from war and predation. Surely, if Denmark embraced them, then they would embrace Denmark in turn, right? At least that's how we thought back then. Reality turns out to have been somewhat harsher than that. As out of the 321, 321, was it? 321, yes.
Yeah.
204 of them have received either fines or gone to jail one way or another.
And don't forget, those are the numbers that actually are from judges that just forgive 70% of the stuff they do. So this number isn't even that accurate. This is just a small part of crimes that were just thrown out or forgiven that actually happened, and they are documented nowhere. This is, as I said, very sick.
That's a pretty bad statistic right there. So 38 received, oh god, what's the English term for ubetinget fängsel? That's when you go to jail, no questions. The judge is like, no, whatever you did, it's really, really serious. You're going to jail right now. No pleading, no bargaining. 33 received betinget fängsel, which is where they go like, okay, you don't have to go to jail, but we'll keep an eye on you. If you do anything else wrong during that period, it's straight off to the slammer. And 133 received various fines, but these are all fines above $150, so 1,500 odd Danish kroners, and they are not speeding tickets. They specifically here overträdelser i färdselsloven ingår icke i statistiken. So they are not counting traffic fines. These are all pretty serious fines right here. As, by and large, in Western countries like this, if you commit a crime the first time around, even if it's somewhat serious, you'll usually be left off with a fine. Because we don't really want to jail people unless it's something really serious. So the fact that 204 in total have either gone straight to jail, been threatened with jail, or had heavy fines laid upon them is very, very, very serious. Or, also, this also only counts them once if they've committed multiple offenses as well. So this can't be like one guy committing 204 crimes. These are individuals out of those 321. Yep. Okay, that already looks pretty gosh darn bad, doesn't it? Okay, so let's look at the crime statistics in Denmark in general.
As I said.
Alright. Incarcerated by ethnic origin in Denmark from 2023. Open prisons are 71% Danish, so you might now wonder, what is an open prison? Well, in American terms, it is a minimum security prison, although it's an even more minimum security prison. To put it like this, can you spot the prison on this picture?
Oh, wait, give me a second. I think I can. Here. Because that's the only building with actual... No, wait. Those are just streets. What the fuck? What the fuck? No, this looks like the... What the fuck? This is insane. Yeah, luxury. Luxury prison. People would kill for this these days. With those freaking housing prices.
Can you spot the correctional facility? Because you are looking right at it. This is the prison. This is Kragshovd Fengsel. Kragshov Jail. This is a prison. This is a prison. No, there aren't any walls. There are minimal guards, and the people are kept in by, at most, a fence, if even that, a literal hedgerow on this side here. That's it. And yes, they do have their own little play yard there for families and visiting children. This is an open prison. The majority of people in open prisons are Danish, which means that there's basically no chance of them trying to escape. They're in there for very minor crimes, or the government, the judicial system more correctly, has simply gone, okay, you are clearly a person who simply fell on really shit terms. We want to reintegrate you rather than punish you. In closed prisons, there's 50% Danish. House arrests, there's 54% Danish. And in Copenhagen prison, the big one, there's 33. So immigrants then make up in total 44.3% of the incarcerated population of Denmark, whereas they make up about 10% of the total population, with another 3.41% of descendants. So somehow 13% make up 50%. It is weird how often that statistic seems to just hammer itself home yet again. And as for the closed prisons in Denmark, the maximum security ones, well, they look like this. This is a Danish prison.
I hate those luxury prisons. I know, reintegrating and stuff, but for fuck's sake. Honestly, what is this? You're treating them like normal human. Okay. If it's a very, very minor crime, I understand it. If it's something like, I don't know, just stealing a wallet because you were hungry, you didn't have any other chance, I understand. This much humanity is acceptable, even for me. And acolytes, those who know me know that I am not that nice to criminals. But everything else... What? It's just... This is a building... You would have to... Just for this one room, you would have to easily pay 2,500 euro in Munich. Easily. And people just get it for free. Or for committing a crime. I just don't get the logic behind it.
A Danish prison. And to be fair, I'm Norwegian. I can't cast any rocks here. If anything, our prisons are even more lenient, with, again, like this being the rooms. To most people, this is a vacation. Indeed, like Scandinavian prisons have become famous amongst various bands of Eastern Europe.
This is literally a hotel room. A cheap hotel room. What the fuck? You would pay in Munich, even for this, like 2k a month. This is pure luxury right now. This isn't even... Wow. I'm gonna be honest, Socrates, I am freaking getting mad right now. This is like, what the fuck?
European criminals, for example, who just steal shit as basically a vacation. So what they'll do is they'll break into a house or a shop or whatever, and they'll get whatever they can. They'll bring it out and they'll ship it out of the country, either literally via the mail services or via a courier truck that shows up and drives the goods over the border, right? And if they get caught, so what? They go in front of a court system, they can walk free most of that time. In fact, most of them simply just skip the country, and those who don't or are arrested are kept there as a flight risk. Well, they spend 6 months in what they view as a fucking hotel.
Yes.
With free food and free lodging for 6 months. It's literally a vacation to them. Like this.
Yes.
If you're living in Eastern Europe, this is pretty sweet. But okay then, what about the beneficiaries of the state? Well, we go down here. So these are the numbers for the people who became in some way dependent upon the state or received state benefits, with the largest number being Förtidspension, which is when you go off with your pension before you're supposed to. Now, to be fair, the pension age in Denmark is 70, which is pretty damn high. It is, I think, the highest in Europe, in fact, so there's quite a lot of people who take their pension before they must take their pension, or when they're allowed to take the full part of it. But as you can see also here, a fair few have also taken all various other benefits as well, with the total number then being, as you can see, the varying years here, with the number of variations being things like unemployment checks, for example. But again, the majority of them have gone on benefits. And those who haven't gone on benefits, well, they've broken in and stolen shit. So, yeah, not good, not very good at all.
No, and this is the freaking... You don't get benefits to make a crime and go in a luxury hotel. Sounds like a win for them. It sounds like a fucking win for them. Honestly.
And again, to be fair, this is a specific group of people, those 321 people. But here's the thing. The entire argument for why they should be allowed in the country to begin with was that they were clearly desperate, which is why they occupied the church for half a year. Surely somebody willing to do that is genuinely in need, right?
No.
These must be the genuine refugees, the people fleeing hardship, who have no choice and are actually seeking a new home.
And yet, you have literal criminals in your country, no matter what you do, that have the exact same things, that grow up in luxury, that still steal stuff. This logic doesn't logic. It's bollocks. Not true.
Right? If even they will be majoritively criminals or otherwise dependent upon the state, the entire argument for immigration basically collapses on its face, because it means that the amount of immigrants who are actually able to integrate into Western society, into Scandinavian society in this case, is tiny. Is a small grouping out of the total. You are looking at something like 30%, maybe. And if you take into consideration taking more out of the system than they give in, you're looking at an even smaller percentage than that. In essence, if we were to have actually decent immigration to fulfill the ideas of taking in the people who genuinely want to be here, we'd have to cut immigration in Europe down to maybe a quarter? And even that is a bit of an optimistic interpretation.
No, not even to a quarter. Absolute zero tolerance, a zero freaking input. To actually having any chance of integrating the people that are here, we need to first of all kick, I would say, at least 90% out, at a bare minimum. Those who actually have the Deutsche Staatsbürgerschaft, or at least like in Germany, because there are some that just got it by purely being here. They done nothing for it. They didn't go the normal way. They just got it because they exist. Those also, every single one that got it for nothing, just out. And then the 10% that are here, they can, until they integrate, good, fair enough. And then, after about, I would say, a decade, then let new people in, or to a higher mess. I mean, I would do some exceptions for people that actually want to work, that do stuff. But right now, this is unrealistic. This is even what he says is just it's comically overdone, at least with us here.
Really? So yeah, this is a fairly damning statistic, even more so than even the overall numbers, which, yet again, don't exactly look very good when you have a tiny, 10-13% of the population committing 44.3% of the crimes. And again, closed prisons, so the most serious crimes, 21%.
Damn.
Immigrants commit serious crimes at twice the rate at which they commit less serious crimes.
Yep.
So, what can we take away from this? Well, exactly the argument that many on the right have.
Get them the fuck out. Get them the fuck out.
Now been using this data to say, namely that immigration seems to be a hopeless numbers game. If Denmark couldn't integrate 300 people, what hope does anyone have of integrating hundreds of thousands or millions if 320 of the genuinely starving, the downtrodden, and the dispossessed still cannot find it within their hearts to actually embrace the country that saves them? What fucking hope is there for any of this system?
Exactly. That's why I say, fuck them. Get out. If you don't appreciate it, if you don't like it, get the fuck out. In my opinion, it's very simple. You go in, you destroy something that other people build up, get the fuck out.
Yeah. Immigration. It is going to be remembered as one of the great mistakes in our history books. Entire chapters will be written on how Europe and the West's view of the world, of everyone being equal, of culture basically just being a costume, was an enormous, unbelievable mistake that brought the Western world to the fucking brink of ruin. Oh well, I say the brink. We're not over it yet, but we might still be approaching at breakneck speed, so you know, I'm being optimistic. Until next time, I've been Arch. Thank you all very much for watching.
This entire thing is just so effed up. This is so effed up. At the end of the day, I mean, the solution, in my opinion, is quite simple. Just get them out. If they're criminals, ask El Salvador if they can take some of those. Do it with 100 people. You will see that the crime rates will plummet. Because they know the consequence of their action. This it is, Acolytes. Good night.